there's nothing I can truly say about why I haven't been posting other than life happens. And I am really, really back to my basics where I wait for everybody to go to sleep in the house before I can even do anything. But what I will say is that I've already gone ahead and done a lot of this project already. And so far, it's looking pretty good in my eyes. And one thing I really wanted to do for this video is that I didn't want to waste anybody's time. I didn't want to waste my time because I realized that most of these patterns are basically the same thing on the first page. Darts. Attach the front to the back as shoulders and the sides. And then what's here is that there's a collar, but I have skipped a couple of steps. I know that might be a little bit bad, like such as I was supposed to sew around the lower edge, but I didn't do that. I didn't want to go through with that. I just didn't really like the look of it. But so far, yeah. And I know that it's very... I've abandoned the hope of perfectly matching all of these seams. In fact, look at the back. The back almost looks perfect. Almost. But hey, I do this for me. Nobody gives a shit. But you know, the good thing about doing this pattern in particular, which is Vogue 1822, and I'm doing the red one over there, it's style B. And you know the best part about doing style B and not doing a lining is that I'm already on the last page. Well, practically. Unless you count these last two steps on the back, then, well, I mean, you might as well just combine it, right? But I'm not doing a lining. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not doing anything extra. Because luckily I got that pattern from the Easter section at Joann's, and it seems to be pretty okay. And at least it's not see-through as far as I can tell. It didn't tell me to finish the edges, so I kind of had to go back and serge the edges, which I've already gone and did that, as I did here. And you can also see how I did the darts too, and I didn't cut them. You see, I am learning. I have learned from my past mistakes, and I feel so good. The other thing I would like to point out, just majorly something that stuck out to me, is that when you're doing the collar portion, basically steps 7 to 9, well, more like 7 to 8 practically, the pattern didn't tell me to clip the corners, which that really helped because it did get very bulky on this side, but I guess they were just expecting you to know these things already, which that was kind of, well, it's kind of sad. Well, hey, since I've put the Little Mermaid project on hold, then at least I can finally use my mannequin again. All right, now onto the sleeves. So as I sewed the gathering stitches onto the sleeves, allow me to explain. Since doing a lot of my own projects off screen, actually, I have found that sewing 2 gathering stitches instead of 1 really helps you control all of those gathers when you're actually sewing them down. After pressing it down, I opened it up like so, just to serge the edges. Now don't worry about serging the sleeve band because it's going to get covered up when you fold it and do what you're about to see. When it comes to gathering the sleeve into the sleeve band, my only type of advice that I have for you is to just match all of the seams or the notches if there is any, and then just going all the way around and trying to make it as even as possible, and as you are sewing to try not to flatten it out or just make it uneven, which, funny enough, what do you call that one part of the sewing machine? Yeah, well, the sleeve band did not fit around it. It was too small, so I literally had to like squeeze it around, and it was just so difficult. And what can I say? I have tiny arms, shut up. And then afterwards I whip stitched the sleeve band shut, just hiding all the raw edges, and this is funny. This is what I said literally afterwards. I hate it. This is a new angle. Okay, let's give it a try. So you want to know how I remember how to sew on sleeves? So we all know that we have to do it right sides together. Well, and you also have to match up the bottom seam and the top seam together, or at least the most you can. Most sleeves have you gathered at the top, so it's not always going to be even. So how I remember it is, see this edge? You just connect it there, and then you just visualize it by flipping it around like that, but then you work from the inside. So you're pinning and all that, but then you're also matching this bottom seam right here if I don't lose it. You know, it's so wonderful trying to explain things at the same time and talk. But yeah, there you go. So then I just pin everything, or I just attach it from the bottom first where it is not gathered, and then I just play around with the gathers on the top, so that way it's easier to sew on the machine. Did that make sense? I hope it did, because I'm not saying it again. It's so cute, look at that! The next part that I have to worry about is how to attach the skirt to the bodice. But right here, I don't know what to do right here. I know I have triangles to match up to and seams. However, I'm realizing as I was trying to put it on the first time that, look at this. I can't, that does not match up. That does not match up. And of course it doesn't. So I think what I'm gonna do, just to make it easier on myself, especially since like in the photo of like the instructions, this is just supposed to be straight across. I think I'm just gonna slice it up. I'm gonna cut it, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Haha! That looks like it's supposed to be something. Yeah, alright. This is a prime example why I cannot and should not sew or do any kind of work while I am watching TV. I was watching Euphoria, and this is real time. This is real time. I couldn't get anything done. But hey, at least it was a really good show. I just sewed it down, so here's the moment of truth. Does it look all right? Wait, really? I am honestly shocked that that happened. But on the other end, it looks like I think I'm gonna reinforce it just a little bit now that it'll actually sit smooth. But holy shit. On the plus side, I get to use my invisible zipper for the first time, so let's see how this goes. I am so bummed that I didn't get any close-up shots of this process, but I essentially had to push the teeth of the zipper straight upwards into like the foot on the zipper foot, and it turned out perfect. It turned out perfect, you're gonna see. And I didn't film this, but I also serged the top edge of the collar, and I just ironed it flat, just so it would lay straight down. And then I also went ahead and pressed the hem before sewing it down, and there it was. I had a dress, and I like it a lot. Honestly, I just can't believe that I finally learned how to install an invisible zipper properly. And you know what? It doesn't match in some areas, but I don't care. I really like it. This Vogue pattern actually fits pretty well. I realized that I could, all that's really left to do is to just sew a little tiny hook and eye in the back at the top of the neck, but I really don't care. I usually just zip it up and just call it a day anyway. But yeah, I guess I'm ready for Easter, even though I don't even celebrate it. I've just paired it with some retro heels that I got off of Poshmark. I should really get fancier socks. And if you can see right here, I just added a little heart pearl to the mix because I think it was a very nice touch. Also, I mean, when I look at the darts, I realize that there is a little bit of excess here. I don't know if I want to fix it. I don't know if I should fix it. It could just be my body. But overall, yeah, I'm so happy with how this dress turned out. And I do recommend you giving it a try if you would like to. And just before I let you go, one last little update I'd like to add. I'm no longer on TikTok. I find it depressing. I think it fuels overconsumption. And every time I post on there, I just feel like it's a fight with strangers waiting to happen. And I no longer want to just be on that app. Editor Kaylee here. Basically what I was saying, that if you do not find any links to my other social medias down below, it essentially doesn't exist. It's as simple as that. And you know what? I loved that fabric so much that I ended up making an 1890s ensemble for Claudie. Oh my God, isn't she pretty? Oh my God, I love it so much. And I believe that concludes this sewing adventure. So with that, my name is Kaylee. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want, and I shall see you in my next sewing adventure.